Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Discipline Priest PVE Mythic Plus Guide here, and we are going to be going over the race, talents, stats, tier gear, and embellishments. It's going to go a really fast video. We're going to try to keep this simple, not go over everything in the entire world, but we're going to make this where you are definitely better at the end of this video, and you're not just jumping into Priest blindly. So, race, 35% of the Discipline Priest and Mythic Dungeons are Night Elf. That is the best race, simply due to the fact they get 1% haste baseline, and then they also have Shadow Meld. So if you accidentally pull a group of mobs, Shadow Meld, and all the mobs don't know where you went, they just run away. So you can have a free vanish, and that's very good. So you can keep that and Shadow Meld and get out of combat. So the next thing are the talents. Are we playing Oracle? Are we playing Void Weaver? Playing Void Weaver. This is the build right here. We're doing big damage for big healing from atonement, because whenever you do damage on an enemy, and if you have atonement on your teammates, it's going to convert that damage that you do into healing on your teammates. So I'm not going to cover all these talents. This will be in the description, this entire build, the link to it. So all you'll have to do is copy that link and then go down here and press import, and then you will copy and paste that in and then name it whatever, PVE, Mythic Dungeons, whatever, and you'll get this build right here. So I'm not going to go over everything, but I will go over some main important things here. The main important things that you should notice: Power Infusion, when Twins of the Sun Priestess, whenever you use Power Infusion on an enemy, teammate, sorry, you get Power Infusion on yourself as well. That is just something that is notable. The next thing is Essence Devourer. When you're Shadow Fiend, your pet that you summon, your Mindbender, whenever it attacks, it siphons life from the enemy and it heals those around them. And also it's going to heal from the damage it does. It's going to convert that to atonement and heal them even more. So your Mindbender is going to be big healing, which is also going to come in to the burst, which the big damage, I'll explain that in just a minute. The Void Weaver, these are the talents you run right here, be in the description like I said. The main thing that you want to pay attention to is Entropic Rift. When you bring Mind Blast, it tears open an Entropic Rift, which is a big old circle, big old orb that goes around, and it does damage to the enemies around it. And then you go down here to Collapsing Void. Each time penance damages or heals, Entropic Rift is empowered, so it gets bigger. It's increased its damage and size by 10%. So it's just going to get huge and do big damage, and then it will collapse and explode and do tons of damage all around. And you want to make sure that you have atonement on all your guys, all your teammates, whenever it does explode. There's a timer that you can see when it's going to explode. Very important there. The next thing, Shadow Covenant. Whenever you cast Mindbender, you enter into a Shadow Pact, transforming Halo, Divine Star, Penance into shadow spells, increasing the damage and healing of your shadow spells by 20% while active. Big damage whenever you use Mindbender. All your other spells are empowered, so it's something to note. And then you go down here, Void Summoner, reduce the cooldown. You're gonna have a really short cooldown, 30-second cooldown on Mindbender. And then this right here, we'll go to Mindbender real quick. It replaces your Siphene with Mindbender. And here, you want Inescapable Torment. So Penance, Mind Blast, and Shadow or Death causes your Mindbender or Shadow Fiend to teleport behind your target, slashing up to 5 nearby enemies for 94,000 shadow damage and extending its duration by 0.7 seconds. So each time you use one of those abilities, it's going to do big splash, big AoE damage, which will turn into big AoE atonement healing. So that's going to be really good there. You're going to keep that in mind. That's going to be part of the rotation that I will explain here in a minute. And the only other thing to really look at here is going to probably be Harsh Discipline. Every time you power Radiance, your next penance will have an additional 2 bolts and it stacks up to 2 charges. Can't really think of anything, to point out that you won't already know. If you've leveled up a Discipline Priest, you'll learn what everything else is, but these are what the different things are for this build. The next thing is stats. The stats. Stat priority goes haste number 1. That is going to be more damage, and that converts to more healing with your atonement. More damage equals more healing. So the next thing is versatility. Number 2, versatility. That is going to increase your damage and healing output flat out. just increase the next things below that are crit and mastery. Crit is going to be more damage, and then mastery is going to go into more healing, more absorption. So all stats are good, but just haste, versatility, main stats right there. We'll write that in there. Tier gear, we're going to be looking at the helmet, shoulders, chest piece, and the leggings. These are going to be the best pieces right here to get. The 2-piece and the 4-piece puts your healing spells have a chance to apply insurance, and it's just a healing overtime effect, and it'll heal them once if they drop below 40% health. It's just good to have. It's just good. And then your 4% is going to put insurance on them at a 40% effectiveness every single time that you power word shield. So that's going to be good too. That is good too. The next thing are embellishments. The best embellishments are symbiosis. You can rock symbiosis, double symbiosis, or just symbiosis, and what is it called? Writhing armor banding, which literally just doubles it. Or can't think of that other name. Oh, Ascendance. That's what it's called. I couldn't think of the name of it. Ascendance, it gives extra stats to your weapon. You could put it on your weapon and it gives extra stats. It's very good. And then just double down on that with the writhing armor thing. I can't even think of the name of it. I'm losing my train of thought. Alrighty, here we are at a cleave training dummy, which will be like adds and literally anything this rotation will be effective for. So what you're going to want to do is, first off, you're going to want to make sure you put your dot up on them. This is something I completely forgot to mention, but every single time you Shadow Word Pain, it spreads to 2 nearby enemies when you cast penance on the target. I completely forgot to mention that. But so whenever you press Shadow Word Pain on somebody and then you press penance, it spreads to 2 other players, 2 enemies. I mean, now in order to do max damage and keep up that atonement, we are going to put on Shadow Word Pain #1, and then you can summon your Void Ray, and then Radiance to get atonement on everyone, into a Mind Blast, into a Penance, into a Shadow Word Death, and to Void Blast, which is replaced by Smite, and you can press Penance and Shadow or Death off of cooldown, and then just like that, make sure you Radiance before that Entropic Rift blows up, and I will show that again right here on the screen. Whenever you use Mind Blast, there's 8 seconds in the top left, and every single time you use Void Blast, it increases by 1 second. So right before that ends, you want to try and press Radiance, or just at least put atonement on the people that are low. So that is the most important thing. That is your rotation, pretty much. Really simple. Anytime you're not doing it, just be putting atonement up on people, shields up on people, and smiting away. But you're going to be constantly having this rotation that you can be doing your damage rotation, because it's just up every 30 seconds, and you have Mind Blast every 23 seconds. So again, Shadow Word Pain, this pet, Radiance, Mind Blast, Penance, into a Shadow Word Death, into Smites, and now our thing is about to end. We're gonna Radiance again into another Penance, into another Shadow Word Death. That right there is the burst. That was a much better representation. I got a little distracted on the first one, but that's the best one right there. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments. Go follow my twitch.tv/OBZ. It'll be in the description below. Like the video if you found it helpful. Peace.